You know that one incredibly nerdy friend you have, or that middle child that's just into everything everyone else thinks is way too childish? Yeah? Well, that's me. I'm both that friend and actually the middle child that's into all those things. But I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm gonna pour my heart out anyway and let you know why I love to collect all the geeky things. Hiya pals! My house is kind of messy right now, but we'll get back to that later. As this is like my first YouTube video, well technically second, an introduction is in order. My name's Alan, aka Spoon, and it is a pleasure to meet you. I'm a super duper geeky graphic designer based just west outside of Toronto that loves Disney, superheroes, and video games. I do stream from time to time on Twitch, but I've been taking a break from that just so I can get this YouTube channel going, as well as some house projects that I got on the side. So, about this mess. My wife and I moved in a couple years ago. Christine, say hi. Hi. And her first wish was to put up all of these shelves. And since we put them up the first time, we did not want to touch them until we decided, or I decided, that it's time for a refresh. Some of the shelves are going to remain the same. They might just be relocated or moved around. But for the most part, it's going to be a huge overhaul. Also, we're kind of doing this to make it kid-proof. Not so much that they don't hurt themselves, no, more so that they don't touch my My love for everything started probably around the impressionable age of 5 or 6 or 7? Regardless, there was an upward trend of me becoming a full-fledged nerd by the age of 31. Ever since I was a wee little boy, I was enthralled in the Marvel and DC comic books, and I think it's thanks to my older cousins. Guyas, if you're watching, thank you for everything. You guys had like the best toys, the superhero video games, and books. Actually, one second. Yeah, this is the one. I borrowed this book from them a long time ago, and I'm pretty sure I read this about 100 times when I was a kid. Oh man, this first panel, I'm pretty sure, helped to contribute to my healthy love affair and or obsession with this superhero right here, Spider-Man. And this suit, the Ben Reilly suit, is one of my favorite Spider-Man suits of all time. DC versus Marvel Comics. If you haven't read it yet, you must. It's like the most incredible artwork, the stories, the heroes, and the villains, all from Marvel and DC, just mashed up into this one book. Now, if you grew up in the 90s, you must be familiar with these 3 cartoon series that played on Fox Kids during Saturday mornings. These 3 series did a number on my childhood brain. Batman, animated series, X-Men, and Spider-Man. Those 3 series are like 3 of the best cartoons to have ever existed in like all of the universe. And then there were video games, more notably the X-Men video game that I needed a cheat code to beat all the time on the Sega Genesis, as well as the Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Sega Genesis. That was hard as all heck, but we always rented it. If you remember what renting is, you're a gem. I should have called this my collector life growing up in the 90s. Another game that cemented my childhood was Spider-Man Maximum Carnage. I played that game guaranteed every time I went to my cousin's house on his SNES. SNES. I'm starting to notice a trend here. X-Men, Spider-Man, and Batman. Superheroes in the world Marvel and DC created are so important to me. They were sources of endless happiness and a place to escape to whenever I needed to leave the one that we're currently in. Their stories taught me so many lessons and truly shaped me into the person that I am today. Oh, this is my wife, Christine. 2006. The year my brain switched to I'm gonna buy and collect everything mode. The same year I got my first part-time job. It started off with comic books. Comic books were legitimately like a gateway to everything. I had to have complete runs and sets of all of the issues and story arcs that came out. That then translated all the way over to toys, where it's like Funko would drop pops for all the movies and all the TV shows that I was into, and I had to have them all. Exclusives and everything. Exclusives, whether they were comic books, toys, statues, sneakers, those were the most exciting and exhilarating things to pick up, but also the most stressful. Getting that thing in your hands, thanks Christine, it's like Christmas morning every single time. That shot of serotonin when you acquire that new is something else, let me tell you. Not to mention the feel, the touch, and smell of these things. Anyway, I think that's why I love Christmas and gift giving. I like to be the supplier of that happiness. I love to give gifts to myself all the time. There's no other feeling that compares to getting that thing finally in your hands that you've been hunting for or waiting for days, weeks, months, and even years. Now, growing up, and don't get me wrong, we had some awesome toys, but just not superhero toys. We had like Power Rangers, Transformers, these little wrestling dudes that I would always play with. So in a way, and yes, I am putting it dramatically, these things were the kind of things that were just missing from my life. I never really had superhero toys or collectibles that were mine until now. Also, yes, outfit change. This is the next day after that last clip. We had dinner and we passed out. Everything that's been in my collection, whether I still have it or I've gotten rid of it, they've all meant something to me. Shout out to Marie Kondo. Everything sparked joy at one point or another. It wouldn't make sense to buy anything that didn't. These things, these collectibles, they remind me of where I came from. They keep me hanging on to those feelings of watching the Saturday morning cartoons. They fuel my creativity, my imagination, and they're a constant reminder to myself to never grow up and keep that childlike wonder. Stop taking things so seriously all the time. I don't think I'll ever stop collecting toys and geeky things. They just make me too happy. Like, what would life be without doing the things that make you smile? For some people, it's trying a new dish or visiting a new place, testing out that new piece of tech or cracking open that fresh new book. For me, it's finding that new piece for the collection. There's always something new, and I think that's like the best part of everyone's passion. It's never ending, and there's always an opportunity to take what it is you love and grow it into something more. Did you have a favorite book or video game or cartoon growing up? Did it lead you down the path of collecting? Do you collect anything? Do you have any questions about me and my collections? Ask me down below. So I mean, that's why I collect. I'm sure there's more to it, but we can get to that another time. If I send anything that you vibe with and you enjoyed the video, please make sure you drop the like button. The social media links are down below. I dabble a little bit in photography. And if you're down for the ride and you want to keep up with some videos, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. We can nurture this channel into a big, beautiful YouTube baby together. I'll see you real soon. Goodbye.